Hello, and welcome to another episode of In My Experience with yours truly, Christine DeGinto. This podcast is a space where I speak from lived experience. The moments that shaped me, challenged me, and changed the way that I understand myself in the world. The awakenings, the breakdowns, the moments that cracked me open, asked me to stay present, be embodied, and be honest with myself. I share my stories not to persuade or define truth for anyone else, but to offer perspective, to explore the gray areas we don't often have language for, to slow things down and listen more closely to what's happening beneath the surface. You'll hear solo episodes where I reflect on my own initiations, spiritual gifts, and the systems that tried to define me. And conversations with guests who have walked strange, beautiful, and sometimes painful paths of their own and come back with wisdom to share with us. I invite you to take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own experience as valid. Thank you for being here. This is In My Experience. Welcome back to In My Experience. I'm Christine DeGinto, and today I'm sitting down with someone who holds a really special place in my life, my friend Nina Sperry. Nina is one of the people that I've met through plant medicine retreats. We met back in 2022, and even though we don't talk all the time, our connection has never gone anywhere. You know those friendships where you can just drop back in and it feels like no time has passed? That's what we have. Nina is an intuitive energy healer, artist, and the founder of Fierce Inner Alchemy. After spending 2 decades in corporate America, she reached a point where the life that she had built no longer matched who she was becoming. What followed was a period of intense change and loss that reshaped her life and ultimately has guided her into the healing work that she now shares with others. She supports people who feel stuck or disconnected in bridging their everyday lives with a deeper sense of purpose. By weaving together astrology, shamanic practices, and nervous system aware energy work, she helps people move through the unseen physical, mental, and emotional blocks that keep them operating in survival mode. In this conversation, we go into embodiment, intuition, energy work, and what it actually looks like to come back into your body after spending most of your life disconnected from it. Just for reference, this conversation was recorded back in January, on January 15th, but nevertheless, better late than never. Luckily, I've had the issue of having so many awesome guests recording episodes with me. It's difficult for me to keep them current. This conversation was awesome, and I'm so appreciative of Nina and look forward to getting right into it. Let's go. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Nina is here with us today, a very good friend of mine, and I thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. We were talking a little bit before I pressed record, and we figured out it's been about 1.5 years since we really caught up with each other, but I was thinking about it before we got started. I was in the shower. Of course, my best thoughts and most pertinent information always comes through at that time. And I was like, she really is one of those friends that you don't have to constantly stay in touch with to be connected with. And you're one of my retreat friends, which in previous episodes I've expressed, I've gone to plant medicine retreats and made connections, lasting connections with people that continue to this day and that we talk regularly. And you're one of those people. We just fell off a little bit, but that's okay because we've both been so busy. Nina, tell me what you've been up to.
Thank you, Christine. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so jazzed that you have a podcast because let's face it, you need one. You really do. Like, you have things to say and people need to hear it, and I'm here for it. And I'm
Thank
just really
you.
grateful to be a part of it.
Yay.
And yeah, we met at a plant medicine retreat in 2022. So, like, oh my gosh, it'll be like 4 years this summer, which
Yeah.
is really wild because
Yes.
the journey we've both been on since we met. I think our lives are completely different entirely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's just a testament to what this work can do and what it does
Yes.
do to you or for you and all for your highest good, right? And I've been up to a lot of things in the last year and a half. Actually, I think it was 2 years ago. Do you remember? You just took the train down to Atlanta.
Yes. Yes. That was my first train ride, like for like a long distance train ride. I, first of all, highly suggest this. If you have the time, we all take flights, we pay, $1,000 to go fly somewhere round trip, but it's cheaper. You have way more leg room. You meet cool people and you can sleep comfortably. Like that, those babies recline, actually, those chairs. So I'm just saying, if you haven't taken a long train ride, they're kind of fun. But yes, I took a train ride for the first time down to Atlanta, and I was, of course, singing that song. I'm leaving. But yeah,
Now that's going
so
to be in my head.
yes, right. Well, you know what? Before we got on here too, I was thinking, I thought about you, and the song that popped in my head was "Let Me Tell You About My Best Friend." Like whenever I see you, that's what I feel and hear, and
Aw.
like you just like skip along and dance. Like you're so fun. You're just so fun. I appreciate
You are
you.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in the time that we have not really connected, I mean, we stay connected on social the way everybody does, but
Yeah,
let's see, I left my 20-year corporate career in the fall of 2024, so it's been about almost a year and a half.
awesome.
And I am full steam ahead as a spiritual entrepreneur. I'm an energy healer, astrologer, a ceremony facilitator. I do cacao ceremonies. I love to hold space for people and um, really just want to hold space for people to let go of what's holding them back so that they can, number one, remember who they are and why they're here. And so they can fucking get to it. I hope it's okay to curse. I'm
Yeah. Oh
pretty
my
sure
God.
your
Yes.
podcast is I can drop
Mm,
F-bombs, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yes. How can we speak freely without the word fuck, you know?
I know it's a central part of vocabulary.
Oh my gosh. We were catching up a little bit, like I mentioned, and I was saying that my left eye has been twitching since, I guess, a couple days ago for good reason. We don't have to get into it here, but yeah, it's just what an experience when you have that overburden of stress. It comes through in physical ways. And I don't know that the general population considers it to be energetic. I feel like the general population considers their physical attributes to be connected to something medical, or they just don't even notice because they're not in their body. Um,
100%. Like
and that's nothing to
yeah,
be ashamed of because
no,
when it gets uncomfortable, we gotta leave our bodies. And I've been told many times that I'm not in my body. Um, and it's a good realization to have because when you do get back into your body and get grounded with Nina, you've helped me personally, like at retreats and then also remotely through your body code work. You have helped me tremendously alleviate pain, um, odd sensations, looping thoughts. I remember you came up to me at a retreat and what was happening? I feel like I was just getting an overload of information. I think that you noticed I looked uncomfortable, like the look on my face was uncomfortable. You came over to me and you put your hands on my head, like so gently. And I was just calm. It was quiet. And I was like, holy shit. Thank you. Thank you.
wait, I think that was in Sedona.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I was like,
that's
oh my God, it's gone.
that's where a lot of stuff came online for me in Sedona, like
Yeah.
in a really big way, and it had a lot to do with my hands. So,
Yes.
um,
Yes. Oh my
that was
gosh.
the
I just
first
got
time
the
I
biggest
experienced
chills.
that.
I got
Yeah,
the biggest chill all the way down up here. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's
yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
And
So,
everything you were saying about the body is so true. Like, and it's funny because I'm a mirror for you right now. I've had my right eye twitching and I've been kind of asking like, "Hey, what is this?" And it's just me kind of picking up on other people's energy, but just like you, I spent probably most of my life not in my body.
mhm.
And when I finally the my first plant medicine retreat actually brought me into my body and I didn't know what to do. I was
Yeah.
like, what do I do?
What is this? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it was really uncomfortable at first. And through energy work and more coming into my body, I started to know that there were sensations that happen when I'm coming out.
Yes.
And um, body code, emotion code, those definitely help me get back in. But it's amazing once we are able to be embodied and feel into things, how quickly they can move.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of becoming aware and just setting the intention to be aware. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I've been disassociated most of my life. What's it like to be in this? Some people call it a meat suit. Oh, we'll just call it this beautiful container that we're
Yes.
in.
Yes.
That's why we came, is to experience all these things. So I really believe a lot of our work starts with the body. It tells us like everything that we need to know.
100%. And unfortunately, especially women have been trained and conditioned to ignore our bodies and how we feel or to stifle those sensations because it's like, oh, I just have to get through this. And it's like, no. I mean, listening to your body, trusting your intuition, that's going to get you a lot further in life than um, keeping it all up in your head and internalizing it because it comes out later as disease. It comes out later as the proverb that Japanese, I believe, proverb of like the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive it is to get home. Like that's a fact, especially with your body. Some damage can't be undone. And it's really important to make the space and the time and focus your energy on feeling and knowing what that means to you, what these feelings are pointing to. Um, yeah. It's kind of like a whisper, a tap on your shoulder, a tap on
Yeah.
your shoulder to the point where I couldn't even turn my head at one point. I remember in like July of 2024, I was like, my neck and shoulder are in so much pain. Like, I don't even understand what is happening. And I went to Nina for help. You did a body code session for me. And it's so funny because I felt like I could feel a tingling happening in my arm. And I was like, did you just start this? And you were like, I did, but then I was instructed to wait. So I was like, that's so funny. I could feel you. Like I could feel like you didn't tell me when you were gonna do it, but I could like feel that it was happening. And I was like, oh my God, that's Nina. Um, but the findings of that were very enlightening. I felt like I had questions after, like, who was it? But then I realized that doesn't even matter. Like, there were, just so the listeners understand, the pain in my shoulder was associated with multiple, um, like, curses, hexes, a saboteur. There was an entity in there, I believe. Um, but a lot of it was intentionally put there from other women because they felt envious of me or like I stabbed them in the back or something along those
Or
lines.
triggered, or
Yeah,
triggered.
triggered. Yeah. So it's like were attacking me because they were triggered. And I felt that shit. I couldn't even turn my head. So it's like, yeah, it's real. But when you did your session after that, I was like immediately better. And I was telling everyone that I worked with too. I was like, wow, my friend did this session. I remember yesterday, I couldn't even come to work because I couldn't turn my head and I couldn't move my arm. I'm all better. It was awesome. Yeah. Ooh, I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally muted my mic. Um, it's amazing with this work. Even after doing it for years, I'm still like surprised sometimes. Like, what? That makes sense. Because sometimes I'm like, is this like, what is this that I'm finding? And um, I also thought it might be helpful to tell listeners, things like entities, saboteurs, they're kind of energetic weapons. They can be created by people's subconscious. So it may be intentional, it may not be intentional. That's just how powerful our minds are, that
Yeah.
when we have these looping thoughts, or maybe we just have a moment of anger and we're just really like, oh, that guy cuts us off, and that is an expression of energy. It creates energy. Energy is always in motion, so it's going to go somewhere. And
Yeah.
most of the time, for women, I think we tend to just trap it within ourselves.
Hmm.
It can get directed at others, but these things come up, and the more you get in tune with your body, the more you start to notice those things. I also can feel that kind of stuff when different things are happening, and maybe I can feel it like in this one spot in my back. It's like poked, and I'm like, oh gosh, there's energy trying to come in. Let me just balance myself, center myself, and cleanse my energy, and just kind of push it out. And you can, because you can protect yourself always. It's
Hmm.
always available. We just have to ask for it. And that's the condition of being human, is I'm going to forget to use the tools. Even I know
Yeah.
you probably do the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know all the things to do, but
Oh
sometimes when you're
gosh.
in the
Yeah.
moment, I'm like, okay, well, at least just help me get back to that point where I can remember, oh yeah, I can stop and take a breath.
That's exactly it. Like it's so funny because people reach out to me and and thank you, universe. This always happens. People reach out to me or clients will reach out to me, either friends or clients that I'm working with, and the issues that they're moving through are eerily correlated with what's happening in my life. And I'm like, well, thank you for this. And I feel so silly. But I think it's also part of like my human design, the opportunist role model playing through where I can give someone the best advice. And like I said, it's like I could apply that to myself as well. And I'm like, do do. And that's like, but I do notice that I do it. It's not intentional. It's just because I'm kind of overwhelmed. But that's true for everyone. And we can't always be perfect. And we
Yeah.
can't always apply the things that we know for ourselves as well as others can. Like Nina, this before we got started, I keep referring to our conversation because it was so great. But I was outside catching up on a cig real quick and I was like, all right, let me go inside. I'm being a pig. And Nina said, don't talk to yourself like that. And I was like, thank you for reminding me because we do things we don't realize, you know? And words have power and thoughts have power, energy has power, and it's so important to apply everything that we know and would want for others to ourselves. It's just hard.
It is hard. And, a lot of the times, the things that we say to ourselves, we would never say to our
No.
family member, our best friend, even a stranger. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say some of the things that I say to myself in my head, right? So it's always great to have mirrors. And I love that as practitioners, the people around us and the people that we serve always become mirrors too. And they're also mirrors for each other. Like sometimes when I get a channeled message and I'm giving it to a client, I'm like, oh shit, I need to write this down because this is actually a little bit for me too.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, oh man, I feel called out right now. But
Right. I'm
um
offended.
but that's why we do this work because
Mhm.
you know, you reach a point where no matter what trigger comes up or thing comes up, we want to move through it. I like to say like we chose like the heroic level of the 3D life video game. Like
100%.
why couldn't I just be the chick that's happy to go to yoga and drink my Starbucks? Like, I gotta be a star seed on a mission right
Yeah,
now.
you have to be an interdimensional warrior with an abundance of karma, right? It's just
Yes,
so it's
and
like thank you.
ancestral things to just dump when you're like the chosen one in the line. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of us all feeling the same way. And it's like,
Yes.
why did I go and pick that life? Like, I talked to all these people before that I came here, and this is what we're doing, and this is what we agreed to. But when you kind of lock in that everything is happening for your highest good, it makes it a lot easier to detach and surrender, even
Yeah.
when it sucks and it doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Yes, 100%. And I think for me, what I struggled with for a number of years and kept going back and forth on was I owned a property that would have suited my needs for what my goals were, having a homestead, building a sanctuary, engaging in garden therapy, like horticultural therapy with food plants as well as flowers and herbs and having like I said, a sanctuary space to meditate and, all get together, have cacao ceremonies and things of the like. But I had to surrender that. And what was explained to me was if you let that go, even though you think you already have it, you think you can make it work, you think it's what you want to do, you think it's perfect, the universe has something much greater for you in store. You have to let that go to be able to allow what is actually meant for you. And I'm like, that sounds scary as fuck. but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Because I believe it. I feel it. And like you said, there are moments where it clicks in and you realize. And I've seen visions of what's possible, and it's just so exciting. And that's what propels me every day to like keep going in the direction of the dreamer, because I believe that we really can make our dreams a reality. And there's a reason that we have those dreams. It's not it's not delusional, it's dimensional, right?
That is so true. And I really admire that you were able to let that go because there is something better on the way. And when we talk about that, we make it sound like it's this, it might be this thing, but like, I was in a marriage for like 10 years and to let that go felt really, really difficult. And it was a long process. And it was in that I realized, okay, if I keep holding on to things that I know are not right for me, like I'm literally blocking everything else.
That's the
And
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
when you go back and forth between different things, you can feel the shift. Like when you are, what's the word? Accepting, when you're just accepting what you believe it is, but you're not correct. I have had the experience where it's like I can really sense the timeline shifted and things start to like kind of fall apart and feel icky, and like it's like wow, I made the wrong choice. Like, and then when it's just consciously, though, nothing is really that different, but it is a different reality. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
it really is. It really is. And I like to say, and this actually came up in the cacao ceremony I had on Sunday, and in a client session the other day, is like we can't really make the wrong choice, even if our ego and our human thinks it's the wrong choice. Whatever lesson is in that is medicine for us, and then we can move forward. And it's not our job to figure out how it's going to happen. The universe gets to surprise us with that. Like my human mind, I have a lot of Gemini energy. I know you do too. I love to like, my mind will just go and think of a million scenarios and how things will happen. I'll have like every one of them planned out. And then the universe is like, hey, what about this over here? And I'm like, well, what the? I didn't even think that was a possibility. Oh, I hadn't considered
Yes.
that. And so I like to call it the how hole. Like, I'm not going to get stuck in the how hole because it's not my job to figure out how it's going to happen. I'm just going to trust and have faith and surrender, do the things I know to do, show up in the ways I know to show up and take inspired action. And then things start to just happen. It's like, it's magic, like pure magic. It's kind of funny the way that that works out.
True manifestation magic. And I love that so much. The howl. That's so good. That's so good.
I'll be talking to myself like, Nina, do not get in the hell hole right now. Get out of there. Because our minds just love to like, consider the possibilities and plan. And that's just a way that we keep ourselves safe, especially if that was something that we had to do when we were younger. If we're programmed to scan and anticipate things, we're going to do that in all levels of our life. And it's a matter
Yeah.
of like, okay, maybe I can't change that, but I can become the observer to the fact that I'm doing that and not make it mean anything or get attached to any of those outcomes that I try to force or think, and just know that like no matter what happens, I'm going to be safe, I'm going to be happy, I will have more than I need, and everything will be great. um
Yes.
but I say it as if that's some easy thing. That is, I mean, that is a practice every freaking day.
It's a daily struggle. It's a
Yeah.
daily struggle of balance and trust and action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's but so fun. And I feel like pretty much on every episode so far I've said that I'm so happy that my life cracked open the way that it did to expand my awareness into this scene, into this world, into this spiritual world, and to the people who think similarly, um, because it's endlessly entertaining.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun than a 3D world that we were living in before.
It's way more magical. And like,
Yes.
isn't that what we're here for, is the magic? That's
Yeah.
what we're here for. And
Yeah. The practical
yeah,
magic.
I had a similar experience, feeling like I was getting cracked open, like everything in my life was like, what is happening? Who am I? Like, what am I doing? And then when you kind of take a step back and you start to look and think about what you really want, what's in your heart, let go of things that you've been holding on for. I was holding on to things for like 30 years, 35 years. Like you let those go and then it starts to get really fun and magical. I mean, life is always fun. It's really what we look for is what we see. So if we're looking for the joy, we're looking for the fun, we're going to see it. But if we're burdened down with heavy energy or, traumas we haven't worked through, if we never talked about that thing that happened when we were 12, and we
Hmm.
don't have to talk about it, but even if we don't remove the energy of it, it still exists within us. And it's like I used to say I always felt like my whole life like I was just heavy. I was just carrying like this big backpack of shit. I didn't know how to put it down. I had no idea. And then when I finally learned like, oh, I don't have to carry any of this. Oh wow, the lightness that I felt in my body was just unreal.
So sorry. I'm listening to you.
Oh, I know you are.
I'll cut that out. But I had to turn my phone on do not disturb because I'm getting all these fucking phone calls and notifications. It's annoying. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I
that's
should have
okay.
done that before. Um, oh, what else do you want to talk about?
Well, we mentioned body coach. Should I explain what it is so everybody
Yes,
knows in case
please
they
do.
don't?
That is, yes, an excellent idea. Please do.
Um, okay, so I'll just start with emotion code because that's kind of the entry point to these systems. And Dr. Bradley Nelson is he was a chiropractor. He's the creator of the emotion code, body code, and now belief code. And what they are is they work on the premise that everything's energy, which you already know. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming that you're on that same page. Everything's energy. And with everything being energy, when we have an emotion, it generates an energy, it's a frequency. But if we don't process it in the moment, and for whatever reason, we're not capable, we're overwhelmed, or maybe we just don't know how, we can trap those in our field, in our organs, in our body, all over, little tiny balls of energy. And emotion code basically taps into that. So it's a chart of 60 emotions, and you basically use muscle testing. I use a ring in ring method. Um, but if you're not familiar with muscle testing, it's where you basically tune into the subconscious, and we're tapped into source, higher power, like no conscious mind is influencing this. So even from here, I can connect to Christine and we can do it remotely, right? Which is really great. We don't have to be in person because energy work it goes over time and space. We don't need to
Mhm.
be in the same space. We could even do Reiki right now on us in Sedona in 2023, right? Which blows
Yes.
my mind.
I love to do that shit, to
I
be
do that
our
stuff
own
too.
angels all the time. Go
Yeah.
back and be your own angel all the
Yeah.
time. 100%.
Because
Yes.
time's not even real, so we can like hop in and out of
Yep.
these different places with our mind. It's just opening to that possibility. So emotion code was the first kind of iteration. I think it came out in the 90s. And then, he was a practicing chiropractor at that time. He's working with patients, and he noticed patients would have recurring emotions. And by the way, the emotion code, I believe he doesn't explicitly say it, but it sounds like it was channeled, divinely downloaded from
Mhm.
source, universe, God. And the body code was then sprung from that. And that focuses on 6 areas. It's like energy, misalignments, toxins, lifestyle. Um, I might be missing some. Oh my God, I should totally know all these,
That's
but
okay.
I like live it.
Tell people, look it up.
Or reach out and I'll be happy to tell you. But the
Yeah.
thing I like to say too is we don't need to get into the like a fun word, the machinations of it all, right? We don't need the details. And I even have some clients when we do sessions. I'm like, I'm not sending you notes because I know your Virgo ass is going to be sitting there reading every line, wondering what that trapped emotion from the time that you were 22 is from. And we don't necessarily need to do that. Like it's okay if we just let it go, right? And hey, I get it too. Like when I first started getting sessions before I was a practitioner, I was like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. Like, ugh. But it doesn't really it serves a purpose if you let it. But anyway, so body code allows us to look at all the systems of the body, the organs, the energy systems, the meridians, everything, and basically remove energy that's causing imbalances or misalignments. So it works in tandem with the emotion code. And then I think it was 2023. Yeah. Oh my gosh, almost. 3 years now, Belief Code came out, which is the same premise, but it's all beliefs. And that works on the idea that, and I had done a lot of belief work before Belief Code came out, but it never quite hit for me. It's like I would get there and then I'd be right back in my pattern. And when I went to the Belief Code training, I realized why. It's because they had spent years developing this. They actually purchased, crap, I can't remember the name of the therapy. It was like some kind of rapid transfer RTT or something. They bought the rights to that and then adapted it into Belief Code.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been, a modality that's been in some form for a long time. And basically belief code, there's parts. There's different kind of belief systems, but it's like I like to use the analogy of a tree. So there's certain components. We'll have negative programs, which are the thoughts that we have. Like, oh, I'm fat, I'm stupid. Those are programs that run over and over. And what happens is as those run, energy will gain momentum. It becomes more and more ingrained. Those neural pathways are formed. And I know that all of us have experienced that. Then under that, there's limiting beliefs. Those are like kind of beliefs we have that feed the program. So like I'm not worthy of wealth or that I'm not lucky like that. Then there's faulty core belief, which is something that is really deeply rooted, and that's like going in to the like trunk and the roots of the tree. And the other things I kind of started the tree analogy but didn't finish it are like the leaves and the branches and everything, the stuff we can see. And the faulty core identity is what's beneath the soil. So belief code, we look at all the parts and we pull them all out at the same time. So that way the subconscious can kind of reorganize itself. And sometimes it'll ask for positive beliefs and we'll install them, but we're designed to fill in those gaps with positivity. It's the energy, the things around us, the feelings that we have that we're not processing, or the feelings that we're making mean something about us that don't actually. Because how many times has something happened and you're hurt and you're making it mean a story about you? And maybe that story was from when you were 8 and you didn't get something you wanted or you didn't get the love that you needed in that moment. And now something happens and you're older and all of a sudden you're that 8-year-old child because you're reinforcing that core belief that you formed at that time.
Yeah.
And that's about pulling that energy out. So those are the there are the three kind of modalities that I work with. I work with other modalities as well, but that's kind of like at the core of what I do because it just branches off from there. And it's really beautiful because the shifts that you can make are just they just wow me, I'll have a pain or my boyfriend will have a pain or whoever will have a pain. I'll be like, oh, let's see if there's an emotion and we'll pull out an emotion and it'll be gone immediately. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that was just an emotion. And it should
Yeah.
be just that easy. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, it gets to be that easy. That's what I have to remind myself because one of the beliefs that I've had is that things have to be hard or be a struggle. Like,
Yeah.
especially as women, I think we're programmed that way. You have to work hard to get your paycheck and you have to do this and this to be successful. And like, is that ultimately true? Like, we get to decide what's right for us. And I'm at a point in my life where I want it to be fucking easy. It gets to be easy.
Thank
It gets
you.
to be good. It gets to be easy. And we get to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's those modalities in a nutshell. I can do them remotely. That's most popular because a lot of clients just like to kind of receive the energy. I do them on Zoom as well. And I do them in person at ceremonies and retreats and stuff. And it's just really beautiful to help people move energy that's kind of stuck there because, even me as a practitioner, I work with healers too because we can't always see what's going on. We need the
Oh,
mirror of
a
someone
hundred
else to like
percent.
see us.
Yeah, every healer needs healers because we can't, it's almost like it's impossible, like you said, to see your own stuff when it's like behind you, in you, especially entities and things of the like that are semi-sentient that can initiate like glamours and different things to hide in your field. I know that at a certain point I had ties with an entity through marriage, and similar entities had similar glamour, and I wasn't able to see them in people's fields, but I could recognize that they were there because I would ask questions and receive answers, and I could feel them and hear them. So that's how I knew that they were there. It's interesting because they would always like start to answer questions. And then when I noticed that they were there and I started probing more, they would be like, you know what I mean? Like put their guard up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you got an entity in there. I can. So it's,
Yeah, that's it. I've had that same experience too, especially with the glamour. Like
yeah,
in my own experience too, like having, and when we say entity, it's not always like it's not an energy that's for our highest good, but we're not talking about a poltergeist or something
yeah,
that's here to terrorize you. Like for
yeah.
instance, years ago, I was working with a practitioner and I cleared an entity that I had had since I was a little girl. And I was very, very attached because this entity came to me after a very traumatic time,
Mhm.
befriended me, and we kind of had this symbiotic relationship my whole
And
life.
that's how they work. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how they
that is
work.
how they work.
But we benefit from that, what they can provide us at a certain point, though,
Yep.
that becomes a limitation. And that's what we have to recognize, um, as you did.
Yeah.
It's, I can totally resonate with that because I've had like a love-hate relationship with this entity that apparently, I believe it's like an archontic entity level. It is kind of like a big, this wasn't like a friend of mine, but from Lemuria when they took the priestesses and I was branded and they think they own me and all the things. So complex feelings came up from that because of that relationship. It was the dominating power, and then I became like a queen archetype. Um, Sort of like Stockholm syndrome, I would say. And I think that's just because of like the my design and the codes that I carry for hope and potential. I'm constantly able to see the good in the bad, but that's not always a good thing when you're surrounded by bad. So
Yeah.
you gotta like, I have been, it's like I said, a complex relationship sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
And that entity I was just speaking about, that it was years ago, but the release of that was actually physically like grieving something leaving me
Yep.
because and the entity was basically just kind of blocking me off from higher guidance.
Hmm.
So it would be like I could go and see that I had guides, but I couldn't actually see them. There was some kind of fog, and it was the entity kind of shielding me or, keeping me from that. But there was some part of me that had agreed to this, right? And felt safe because I forged that bond in a moment when I really needed some safety. And I think it's really good to call out that yeah, we can have those experiences because a lot of people think entity ew, but like no,
Hmm.
sometimes our human, we might have a contract, a pact,
Yes.
something that's carrying this over. And I've seen that kind of play out, and then I get explanations later. I'm like, oh shit, I chose to do that so that I could learn how to understand it in this human form so that I can help others.
Amen. Yes. Yes. And that's so many of us healers have. So, and I've also worked with people or worked in groups and classes with people who have that kind of ick, ooh, ew, entity. Oh, that's bad. That's wrong. That's low vibrational. And it's like they don't understand the complexities
Yeah.
of the contracts and the ties and the relationship and the energetic accompaniment of these beings with appreciation. And I, in particular, one person continuously tried to cut cords with a specific, this one major entity that I was connected with, but it was not my choice, but they think they own me. But complex feelings did arise from all my lifetimes dealing with this thing. So and I'm sorry even to say thing because it is its own being. And it can be a little bit uncomfortable or offensive, I think. I was personally offended when they're like, I can't believe you have this. And I'm like, I don't think you understand like the why. you know?
Yeah.
And you're just
Yeah.
trying to cut it off. And they're like, well, it keeps reattaching. I'm like, I don't think I'm finished with it. Like, I think there's more that I need to understand to be able to actually break this. Because if it's continuously reconnecting, I think that it's a futile, like your work isn't cutting it. No offense.
Yeah.
No pun
Yeah,
intended.
or it's just not the time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
not the time. And I always tell this to clients. Usually I can feel like when I say like entity curse, like this type of thing. Some people do panic, but I always just stress it is just energy. It is no different than a trapped emotion, than this rib being misaligned. It's just energy. And if we look at it through the lens of fear, we could actually be feeding it. I don't usually say that, but like
100%.
our
Yeah.
viewpoint is what feeds it. Our reality is what we're creating our reality, right? So if I think every time I go to the grocery store, I'm going to pick up an entity and it's going to haunt me, like I might be
Then
creating
you
a
will.
reality
Yeah.
because I'm already sensitive. I can already pick things up like a sponge. So like why don't I just turn on my green or red light and be like, "Come on over, boys," right? Like but it's just energy. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just neutral. Like it is what we make it. And sometimes we're going to pick up things that we don't want to, like
Yeah.
from others. But again, I always think it's part of my journey, or maybe it's even part of my mission that like I do pick that up and then I move it out so that it can't be here in this dimension attaching to
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
But we can't let those things like intimidate us or scare us because ultimately we are sovereign beings.
Mm-hmm.
And if I decide that you can't really impact me, you might be in my field. You might be able to kind of poke a little bit, but like, hey,
Yeah.
the gates are up, buddy. Like, and that's, us being not fed by fear of like, oh my God, there's an entity, right? Or a curse or whatever. It's like, bitch, please.
Well, speaking of that, like entity attachment from my many lifetimes, like I said, they branded me. And my main mentor, Amy Belair, pointed that out to me years ago. She was like, I believe that you were taken, you were treated basically like um chattel, I guess the word is called. But it's like property. Not cattle, but like chattel. Like there's a different word for it, I guess. But recently when I was in Joshua Tree, I'm gonna like stand up, show y'all this. Uh, I had a brand that meant that I was owned, and I changed it. I changed it.
Ah,
So instead of it being whatever their mark is, this is the shorthand symbol for sovereign.
mm.
So I was like, nope, I'm sovereign. I'm not owned. I'm not, but
Okay.
that was a
That's why I
channeled
keep hearing
thing.
that word because we were going
Yeah.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
That,
Sovereign.
yes,
What a good word.
I haven't seen that tattoo. I've seen the brand,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's
I decided to
beautiful.
change it. I thought for a long time, like when I was younger, I hated that thing. I didn't want anyone to see it. I was ashamed of it my whole life, basically. Like I felt like I couldn't be sexy, like I would have to hide it in a bathing suit or different things like that. Um, no wonder I didn't want people to see it because of what
Yeah,
it meant. And subconsciously, I knew that. I'm,
exactly.
so that makes a lot of sense, because who cares about a birthmark? It's just a birthmark, except it's not. It's, yeah, I think it's so fascinating the reincarnation studies of people who say that they were reincarnated and they're aware of their previous lifetimes and they have scars or marks in the spots that they were killed or it's like
Yeah,
I so fun to think about. I think it's real.
it is. I think it's real too. Like there's a lot of stuff and probably most of it's real. Like
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Like anything's possible.
Dragons, magic, it's real.
Yeah. Like last night I was coming home from this spiritual entrepreneurs networking group. It was dark, it was raining, and I saw a rabbit cross the road in the dark, in the rain, and I was like, did I really see a rabbit? And I was like, and that's like an important sign for me. And I was like, okay. And I came home. I'm like, I saw a rabbit. And then I had to ask my pendulum because I was like, did I really see a rabbit? And I did. But it's just funny, right? Because we don't want to like believe ourselves or trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like I think the natural inclination when you are very open spiritually, you might at least for me, and this is past trauma conditioning coming up too, is that I will feel crazy because I'm like, that couldn't have possibly happened.
Same, same.
Like,
Yeah,
I will feel crazy that like I had a dream about someone and then the exact thing like happens, and I'm like, "Ha- I can't even explain that, but
yeah,
anything's possible in this
yeah,
reality. Anything's possible, and it's kind of fun, and we're not crazy. Like we're fucking right. Like we know
yeah,
these things, and
yeah.
it's okay that we know these things.
The thing that made me feel most crazy was when I felt crazy because I felt like I could, hmm, I would say my shamanistic gifts came online without my conscious awareness. So like gifts that I've had from training in many lifetimes came online, available to me in a spiritual sense. The ability to see interdimensional beings in a way, like shadow people, yeah, feeling the frequencies, hearing different pitches, affecting electrical stuff around me, like street lights. Like I would pass under street lights and they would turn off, and it's weird, weird things. So when I started seeking guidance from other practitioners, because I'm like, I feel like I'm crazy. So I went to a shaman and I'm adamantly explaining that I'm not crazy. And her response is, I'm a shaman. I understand. And you're not crazy. You're right. And you actually, in fact, are so correct that like you don't actually even need to come to me. And I'm like, that is the scariest thing that I've ever heard.
It is.
Like that
It
was the
is.
scariest thing for me to hear.
Because
And
you have
then
to lean into trusting yourself.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that oh, I feel crazy is from this lifetime and then how many other lifetimes. I
Oh
have
God.
it too. Because like
Yeah.
things that happened when I was younger, things that I saw and I would tell adults or whatever, and then I'm at the doctor talking to a psychologist about what I saw, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm crazy. Like I am crazy. And
Yeah.
but we're really not. It's just
No.
I think when we were growing up, our parents were not, they didn't have the tools to understand the things that were happening for the type of souls that we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just part of our whole journey too, because now I know with you and your children and especially your daughter, like you're changing that story.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed when she was about two, a little under two, and over, she would be sitting in the living room and I would see her looking all around like this, like moving her head, looking around at something that I can't see. And I asked her, like, what are you looking at? And she's like, the birds. And I'm like, well, there are no birds in here. And she's like, yeah, there are birds. And I'm like, well, why don't you paint me a picture of the birds? And she drew, it was just color, circles of color, multiple different colors sometimes. Um, and I was like, wow, I think that you're seeing energy. Like, and she's like, yeah, I see it all the time. And they talk to me in my head. And I'm like, okay, I believe you, but she has struggled to communicate that with her dad, for example, because he's not open. And he has called me crazy. I have three forensic psychological evaluations to counter that claim. In fact, not crazy. Amen.
That's
But
right.
yeah.
Just spiritually awake, people. Just spiritually
Yes.
awake.
Yes. Yes. But at that time and still now, but I think a lot of the time I pretend that it's not happening like you're describing because it's very uncomfortable. And it's hard to face sometimes depending on who it is, but there is a possibility for beings to essentially hop into other people around you. And at a very high point where I was, this is not common, but energetically very high point, they were doing that. And it was very destabilizing because I would be talking with people in my family, my friends, people that I trust, and they would say something, and I would have this feeling. And like, it was like my heart would drop, and like, I would get this, my ear would start to ring, and like different. And I'm like, that they're not them. Like, that's not them. And they're telling me like not to talk about things, not to, and I'm like, that's not even them. Like, But I felt crazy. I felt crazy for thinking that. But then, you know, it's hard to deal with sometimes.
It
This
is.
this multidimensional world that we're in.
It is because we still have to be in the 3D world and live our
Yep.
3D lives and interact with, I lovingly call them muggles, right? Like, and it it can feel destabilizing. And I think it's about, at least for me, I'm trying to remove that program of like, that's not what you saw, you're not crazy. And it is so deeply ingrained that like I just, like the thing with the rabbit, I have to like check, like, is it?
Yeah,
Like, did I imagine that? But, you know, someone said to me, well, even if you did imagine it, it's still your reality. And I'm like,
true.
fuck, that's right, right? Like it still
Yes.
came through. Like even
Yes.
if someone else was standing there and didn't see it and I saw it, I still saw it. And it's like, oh, it's okay to be open and see those things because I think sometimes our nervous system can feel like, oh shit, that's not safe to be that open because of times we were that open and we weren't protected or we were scolded or told like, no, that's not happening. And then you're like, wait, what? But it is. And
Hmm.
it's just like the kind of stuff we've been talking about the whole time. It's about knowing that that's okay and we can allow it and just lean into it and trust and doing the things that we know to do. Like I'll probably do some sessions on myself about that, like trusting myself and my intuition, because the
Yeah.
more open we get, the more we need to trust that because the universe and spirit is communicating with us and we're creating in tandem, like
Yes.
just kind of molding everything. And that's what makes everything so magical, like to have a rabbit run across when it's raining and dark. Like, what the? And I had been thinking, like, I haven't seen a real live rabbit in so long. And
And then there they are. Oh
there
my
they are.
goodness. And I love rabbits. One time I rescued rabbits and they have a very low success rate if they're not with their mothers. But
Oh.
this nest of baby rabbits was disturbed and the mother couldn't return to it. And I felt like if I didn't do something, they would definitely die. So I was like, well, the small odds are better than definitely dying and having it be my fault. So I was like, I'm gonna try. And I found out what I needed to do, which was very complex. You have to have like goat milk or like kitten replacement milk. You have to get acidophilus, or I may have mispronounced that, but it's a specific kind of uh, probiotic. And you like feed them with a syringe. You also have to manually make them urinate because if you don't,
Oh,
the toxicity will build up in them within a day or two, they'll
oh
die.
my gosh.
So you have to like stimulate them to pee. And like I did all of this for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And eventually I had a baby bunny that was like this big and I was about to let him go. Um, and he died. And I felt so terrible because
Oh
I
my
got him
God, that's the worst story ever.
right. I got him to the point that he was a big, strong boy. I don't even know if it was a girl or a boy because it's hard to sex rabbits. And once they got to the point that they were a little bit bigger, I put them in a hutch outside my garden, and I would just feed them lettuce and whatever. I was growing all kinds of food like just for them, and
Of course you
of
were.
course I was, yeah. So then I was ready to let him go soon, and people were like, he's definitely going to die. And I'm like, well, he's a rabbit. He's not going to live forever. We're all going to die. But the fact that I gave him the opportunity to live as a rabbit, which is what he is all I needed to do. But then,
Yeah.
unfortunately, he did die like right before I let him go. And I felt so sad. But what are you going to do? I mean,
I said it was the worst story, but that was my sarcasm. That was
no, no.
actually really beautiful story because like you learned a lot from that and
Oh, yeah.
that is something I just love so much about you is your heart and the way that you care and love for things and just nourish like
Oh,
the things around you, even little rabbits, right? And
yes.
maybe that was his sole mission was to come and get rescued. And then he's just like, she's gonna let me go? No way. I am out. Reincarnate.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, I named him Beast because he was a beast. He lived despite the odds. So, Beast. R.I.P.
Oh. Give us a sign, Beast.
I just saw a watermelon in my head. I used to feed him watermelon. He liked that a lot. So, I
Oh.
I guess he was saying thanks for the watermelon.
Yeah, I need to see a video of a rabbit eating watermelon.
Oh,
Universe, please.
look at my personal Instagram and scroll back to like 2018 and you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else can see it too.
Yeah. I don't know if my personal one's public, but
Okay, sorry guys, I lied.
yeah, yeah. You'll have to pay me. I'm gonna make an OnlyFans for beast footage.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
imagine
just
that.
kidding.
Like just like feeding like little animals. Shit, I would pay for that. That sounds happy.
What a creative idea. Oh, oh boy. People sell pictures of their feet. Why not sell videos of animals eating?
Yeah. Or just
That's
being like sleeping. Like I want to see sleeping kittens, rabbits, like little farm animals.
right.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
What I would rather do is not sell videos of them, but create like multiple eco villages all over the country and have like spaces where people can like come and live and be humans and exist with plants and animals at the same time and just fucking be, man. So maybe that instead.
For sure. I'm pretty sure that's on like your universe list for this lifetime.
I was looking at that picture that you made and I just realized that you made it. I didn't think about it before our call. I was looking at my little altar. It's not little, actually, my altar in my room. And I was thinking, looking at the images that were made for the retreat at Joshua Tree for the manifestations. And I realized that you made them. I'm going to frame them and put them above my altar.
Well, it's a partnership between me and Drew.
Oh my gosh, I love
But
it so
yes, and I did put Easter eggs. So I
I
don't know if you
saw a
found the
little,
Easter eggs.
you put a little rabbit in the garden.
I
You
did.
did. You did. And then it just came full circle talking about our little rabbit.
Oh, we got our rabbit. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I put a
Oh my
rabbit in there
gosh.
because
So funny.
that's my animal. And I was
Oh
like,
my
I'm gonna
God.
put myself in Christine's little garden.
Well, you didn't even know that to me when I saw that, I was like, there's Beast.
Yeah, I had no
But
idea.
you had no idea until now. Look at you go. Except for
Look
you
at
did
us
know.
go.
You did know. It's just not consciously.
Yeah, I mean, because it's all happening at the same time. So this was happening when I was
Yeah.
making that visualizer.
Oh my gosh.
That really
Whew.
blows my mind
It
sometimes.
does. It does. I would like, I've also been thinking about sometimes it's the conceptualizing reality is just as, if not more, fun than watching TV. If you can get to that point where you can see it all in your mind clearly enough and like sit with the unfolding, it's better than TV. But have you ever seen Loki, the TV show? Not the movies. I don't even know if there's a movie, but there's a series on Disney called Loki. And I don't love watching TV or Disney, but that series was awesome. And um, it really was interesting because he met up with the feminine version of him from another timeline. Like he met all of the like versions of himself through different timelines, and he was like fighting um basically like God or whoever is the one that is in control of the memories and the timelines and the this mechanism where all of these energetic pathways um are like meeting in this machine. I guess he created this machine and they're trying to like collapse timelines and like it was just like fascinating to see. I feel like they were able to make it a visual easily understood visualizations and logical wrapping your mind around the complexities of the multiverse, you know?
Yeah, is it a cartoon?
No,
Like animation? No, it's not.
no, it's not an animation. It's live action, and I feel like it's like two seasons. I don't know if there's another season. I haven't been watching it, but a couple years ago I watched it, maybe like
Oh,
two.
I'll have to check that out. It sounds interesting.
It's good. It's really good. Yeah.
I love when that stuff kind of comes into like mainstream stuff and you're like, oh, I see what's happening here.
Yeah, right. Well, it's there's like a double-edged sword with that because someone could say oh, that's from the movies. And it's like, that's just a movie, man. Like, why are you saying that that's real? And it's like, no, they make the movies so that you people would be like, that's just a movie. And it's like, no, they made it real. Like, they're talking about something that's real. And then we all think it's just a movie. But, it's
Yeah.
funny.
It is funny because if everything already exists, right, as energy, that means like there's some truth to like everything, like some experience, something, right? We can't, it's kind of like the premise, like there's really no new ideas. And what book was it? I think it was like Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert. She talks about like ideas and how their energy basically, and like she talked about some novel that she was writing and then she ended up not going forward with it and met Anne Patchett like years later, and Anne Patchett is literally writing that same fucking novel that she was writing in South America. I don't remember all the specifics, but like it goes to like if you've ever had an idea and you never moved on it or whatever, and then later on like you're traipsing along in your life and then you see said product or said thing and you're like, hey, I had that idea.
Yeah.
It's like it all exists. And
Yeah.
like that
If
leads
you
me
don't pick it up, someone else will.
yeah,
Yeah.
that leads me to like saying like if there's like some kind of energies or engineers or architects of our reality, like, and they're planting these little idea seeds or
Hmm.
as energy, and then if we don't act on it, they're like, okay, we're gonna pop that over here. And that's how like people across the world can have the same exact thing, but like
Yeah.
yet they've never been connected, but they come up with the literal exact same thing. So
Yes.
I just, oh, and my ears are ringing really loud right now. I don't know what's happening. But I was gonna say, I hope that with the media stuff, like it pushes people to like open their eyes and kind of wake up a little bit because we're coming to a point in time where like, everybody talks about that split 3D, 5D, whatever that is, whatever that's gonna look like for all of us. But all of us obviously on listening and on this podcast are probably awakened, but it's like the people that aren't. And
Yeah.
is there truth in some of these things that can kind of like open their eyes that there's more to all of this than like what we see right here in front of us?
Yeah. My goal is to help people who are not awakened to become awakened to themselves. I feel like that's like, most good healers' goals, right?
Yeah,
It's like but it's so I feel like and it may be out of kind of necessity. Some of it's choice. I'm not going to bypass that reality, but I kind of oscillate between awakened and asleep. Like when I walk into the grocery store, I go, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I turn myself off. Like when I'm in public, I'm like, "Boop," put up my blinders. But I feel like that's part of like dissociation. That's part of like being overstimulated. That's part of, I think, what I've had to do to cope in reality as a sensitive person. And I've noticed myself like that is my autopilot. And I've noticed that that is what my autopilot does. So at least I'm aware of it, but I do let it happen because I'm like, but this feels better. Like this is easier. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not
Yeah,
always easier or better, but in certain circumstances, sometimes we may need to like kind of go back and forth, and that's okay.
it is okay. Yeah, I can do the same thing. Like I will put my AirPods in when I go to the grocery store. I just want to do what I need to do and just get out and get in, like get
Yeah.
back to my safe little bubble, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I'm just okay with it. Like that's just the way it's got to be sometimes. And sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, let me just stretch myself out of my comfort zone. I won't put my
Oh, yeah.
AirPods in. I'll just be part of humanity over here at the grocery store, even though I don't
Yeah.
want to. Like, because I am Cancer Sun, Taurus rising, so naturally I want to just stay in and stay like behind the shell.
Yeah.
And it's really cozy back here. So
It is. And it's okay to recognize that we might be a little bit overstimulated in our own bubble, and we can't take anything else more on. I think that that's actually more responsible than, you know, just having no
yeah,
boundaries at all. But sometimes I go out in public and it's not even intentional. I feel like it could be astrological transit related, probably when I'm out there. and I compliment people on their outfits or whatever they're saying, I'll respond to, and I'm not worried like, oh, they're going to think I'm listening to them. Well, if you're standing in the aisle and you're 2 feet away from me having a conversation and you're, trying to figure something out, like the other day I was at the courthouse and I really wasn't trying to listen to the conversation that this person was having with their attorney. But again, I'm 5 feet away from you and there's no one else in the hallway. I can clearly hear what you're saying and they can clearly see that I'm sitting there. If they
Yeah.
felt like they needed more privacy, they could have gone into a conference room, but they didn't. So, and they were talking about something. And because of my experience, I chimed in and I said, that is an excellent idea and you should definitely do that. And that, whatever they were saying. And I just had to add my 2 cents. And they were like, oh, yeah, you already know about that. I'm like, yeah, XYZ. And this is why that. And the other thing, I'm not trying to give details on the conversation, but yeah, I'm not afraid to like speak up and say something and say hello and compliment people. But sometimes I'm like, I can't have this shit near me, you know?
It sounds very Gemini rising of you.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Aries moon. Yeah.
Aquarius sun. I remember.
You're the best. I'm not even well versed in astrology, but I find it so helpful and um relationally applicable. Like when I feel off sometimes, I'll open up my astrology app and I'll be like, "Oh shit, that's why." Like it's like I'm like, oh, makes sense, But I'm not one that has studied astrology and I'm not one that knows other people's stuff. Like if they were like, I'm, XYZ, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like I'm still learning
Yeah.
my own. But I always appreciate people who are attuned to that and have knowledge in astrology. It's always helpful to know.
It's definitely one of my passions. And I like still remember people from like high school. I remember their signs. Like, and I'm like, what, how much space in my brain is this stuff taking up? Like,
Wow.
for
Well,
real.
unlimited. You have unlimited space in your brain
Thank you for that
because
reminder.
yeah, it's all a frequency field of information. It's not a physical data file.
Yeah. Even though my 3D-ness likes to think of it as that. Like we're
Yeah.
going and searching like the card catalog. Did I just fucking like a Rolodex or something? I just dated myself, didn't I?
No, I wish they could come back because they're handy. There's a reason
Yeah,
they were made in the first place. But
exactly.
I do that same thing. Sometimes when I'm having an experience, I'll be like, it may be a little bit of dissociation because of the circumstance, but having an experience that's difficult to comprehend, like I'll kind of come out of it and be above myself as well. And it's like, oh, I'm making a copy of this. I'm tucking this away, and I can like find that little nook and cranny in my brain where I'm like, boop, like that's stored there. So you're like gathering the information, like facial features, information, to store for later. Um, I find that fascinating that we have the capability to do that in our brains and kind of like prioritize the information. Sometimes we can't keep things, but
But you can keep a lot.
yeah,
Aquarius, Sun, Gemini rising. And I would also say, are you disassociating or you just living in your mental energy? Because those are two different things. And I think a lot of what you describe sounds like it's just a very mental in your head, which may feel like disassociating, but it's really like you're just thinking, thinking, thinking. And um, if you're still tuned in, like you're not fully disassociated, you're just kind of, like you said, you're taking this observer because you
yeah,
can see every freaking detail and every part and like process it and then still be like, hey, I'm still here and I'm going to reply to 1, 2, 3 points in the conversation, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's weird because sometimes I feel like I'm like pulling back, but in a way, I'm seeing more because it's kind of from above. Like I feel like I'm leaving myself, but I'm not. It's a different perspective.
You're
Thank
like
you for
tuning
pointing that
in,
out.
you're tuning into all like collective, all of it. Because Aquarius is very much like humanitarian oneness, all of that, right? And I think that's a gift of Aquarius is to be able to tune to the collective, like see the bigger picture. You know, someone like me, I just live I experience it in my body, my feelings. Everything comes through that way. So that's kind of my filter. Your filter is like, oh, I can zoom out and I can go over here and I can zoom in over here. Like, and like, it's like you're looking at this giant screen and you're like, and that's really fucking cool skill
Oh,
because
thank
you can
you.
mentally process so many things at one time. It's just
Yes.
most people can't keep up with you then.
I think that's it too. And sometimes I like take a while to respond because I'm considering all these different things that maybe other people aren't. And
Yeah,
it's not
you're
that
looking
I'm
at like 20
slow.
different facets of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'll be talking with my mom and she'll be like, "Do you want to come for dinner tomorrow night?" And I'm like, and she'll be like, "Well, do you? Are you there?" And I'm like, I have to think. Like I just need to think about like what I but some people can like just, and I'm like,
Wh- What's
no.
your authority in human design?
Um, emotional.
Okay, so that's why you have to like ride the emotions of it. Like I'm a sacral authority, um, manifesting generator, so I will have that immediate yes or no. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're not a sacral, like I'm not super versed, but I know enough about human design to know that like emotional, you literally have to kind of ride this whatever that wave looks like before you get there.
Yeah, before I reply to an invitation. I've tried to explain that to my mom, but she was just like, "Well, can you come to dinner or not?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll let you know tomorrow. She's like, "I'm trying to plan." I'm like, just don't know. you know so sometimes it's simple questions, and usually for the like more complex things I feel like I'm able to take action and make up my mind really quickly, but it's like the smaller ancillary things I'm just like, I don't know, there's too many options. Like I think that we'll see what
Well,
happens.
that's definitely Gemini energy, feels like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that I don't know that I've ever been able to identify these traits so well. Thank you for your perspective and like
Anytime.
breaking that down for me, because I thought like there was something wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with any of us. We're all perfect as we are.
Amen. Thank you so much for saying that. Yes.
I'm saying that for myself too. Like we are
Yeah,
perfect. We are enough just as we exist, which is really beautiful. If when we can lock that in, like
it
that might be a
happens.
lifelong one for me.
It happens momentarily, but those moments aren't fleeting. Like I feel like I can go back into my memory where I was able to have those like downloaded like lock-in moments where it's like, no, I'm good. I trust. I surrender. And it's like I can sometimes even think about the memory of that and it comes right back into me. And I'm like, yep. See, it's almost like like when you're playing Mario and you get past that flagpole and then like when the game restarts, you start at that flagpole. It's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a basically I'm seeing like a muscle that we're like building and it's
Yeah.
just using it. It's just remembering to use it. It's that's all any of this is just repetition, practice. Everything is a practice, including loving ourselves. At least for me, like it is a daily practice.
Yeah. So important to do. I'm looking at the time here. It looks like we have like an hour and 22 minutes on this so far. I think we talked about so many good different things. What
Yeah, we
I'll
did.
probably do is like cut them in half. This is what, because I tend to do this, talk a lot with people. And so the recordings are over an hour and I feel like that's a lot for one episode. So I've been cutting them in half and just sharing like the first part and the second part. So would that be okay with you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
I'm just
Well,
excited to be here.
thank you. Did you start a podcast? I thought that you did.
I did. I started it and then I started it like a few months before Stefan and I split. And then I was just like, I don't have space for this. I might bring it back, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of waiting for the universe to like spirit to give me the sign.
I
And
think the cool thing about it is it exists and it's out there and people find it and then that's how they find you. I think it's a great way for marketing just to be organically yourself and there's no pressure to like continue doing it. If it comes back, it comes back. I don't know how long this will last.
Yeah.
It's just for fun. It's all just
It
for
it
fun.
is so fun. And what was so funny is I set like a goal in my mind of like, okay, I want to be on more podcasts next year. And then like you fucking messaged and I was like, get out of here. And then the other day, Chris messaged me, so next week I'm going to be on his, and I'm like, bring it on, universe.
Yes.
I mean, I
That
might bring mine back and you'll have to be on, but I'm also just kind of open to seeing what happens if like I ever end up collaborating with someone because
yeah.
it's I don't know, I just don't want to add one more thing to do while I'm trying to build my business and all that shit. It feels
It's a
like
lot. It's a
it is a
lot.
lot.
And it shouldn't if it feels like a lot or too much, then it's just like not the time and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm leaning into is like, does this does this feel good, number one? Like, the posting on social. I don't know how you are with it, but there's a lot of pressure for our business where at least my ego and society tells me I need to be posting, posting, posting. So
Yeah.
in December, I was like, I'm just gonna post when I feel like really inspired or like whatever.
Yeah.
And how did I have like a great month business wise? And I posted like very casually as I felt inclined. If I did the I should, when you should yourself, I should do that. I should do that.
Oh
Gets
my
to the point
gosh.
I start doing it and I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to do it. And so I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go for a walk, take a break, whatever.
And then while you're walking, you see a butterfly and you take a picture and then you have exactly the right words to say and then you
Yeah.
post that. You're like,
Or like you said, in
yes.
the shower, all of a sudden you get the whole download of the post, and now it's an email and a Facebook post, and you're like, well, fuck, it gets to be that easy. I just have to stop forcing myself like to do things that don't feel good in the moment. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, all right. I love
Oh
that.
man. I love talking with you, Nina. I'm so glad we are able to catch up. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. And I know that we'll be talking with you again in the very near future.
Yeah, I would love to come back anytime you'll have me. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye.
This was such a beautiful conversation with Nina, and one of those episodes where I feel like we could have definitely just kept on going. There's so much more here about trusting your body, trusting your intuition, and letting go of the need to control every outcome, even when it feels uncomfortable. If this resonated, I definitely encourage you to connect with Nina and explore her work. I've experienced it myself, and I can definitely vouch for her true, devoted connection and the power of her healing. As always, thank you for being here and for listening. I'll see you in the next episode of In My Experience. Enjoy this track by Stilo Free, Lights and Shadows.
Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping? Give me no love. Nowadays you don't gotta mind me. In the end I hope you really find peace. I had to set my mind free. I had to let my soul breathe. Moon sign Pisces, heart broke psyche. Angels all around me, but demons wanna fight me. Feel like I had to fight myself. No, I had to look inside myself. With a predisposition to addiction. Through the negatives, I'm still focused on the vision. It's sorta like that first scene you see in Pulp Fiction. I see the end, but it's really only the beginning. I had to find a way to be grateful for them locked doors that you made close. When doves cry, it's so painful, but the purple rain is so graceful. Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping? Give me no love. I'm fighting battles, lost between the lights and the shadows. Tryna shoot me down, I'm dodging all the ammo. Left me hanging, I escaped from the gallows. Swim through the ether, blowing on a reefer. Running like Rev when he rapped about Adidas. It's like my flow is heaven sent. My energy can shift the cards in your tarot deck. Life ain't always what it seems. An alternate reality, I'm living in a dream. I got the Stussy on the T with the 501 jeans. Ray-Ban Lokes with the Air Max 3s. Mandela effect, got me living my best. I gotta jump timelines when I'm living in stress. And a spliff in my chest, it got me lifting and blessed. Peace, you know the rest.